to protect your emotions and tangible steps you can take. And we'll start by defining who is most likely to overtrust, overshare, and ultimately feel mistrust and disappointment in other people. So who tends to give their trust away so easily? And it's hard for me to give an answer in a very structured way, because at the end of the day, I'm talking to you. And you might be that person. And more often than not, it's most likely because you couldn't turn to anyone as a kid. You didn't have anyone to share with. Maybe you felt judgment whenever you needed help from the base, the grounding, the essence that is family, being grounded. Maybe you were met with anger, emotional reactions that were disproportionate from reality. And if that's the case, I'm sorry you had to go through that, because it leaves a mark. It makes you feel guilty for anything vulnerable, not good, not redeemable, and makes you more and more closed off. I mean, if you always are met with resistance, combativeness, judgment, and emotions that are disproportionate from reality when you need help, why would you keep being vulnerable and asking people for guidance or for support? And that must have made you so self-reliant to an extent that a lot of people won't ever be able to understand. Not only were you self-reliant, but you are the only one being there for yourself emotionally. And I think that this is the foundation to someone who needs to protect their emotions. Because at a certain point in the teen years, early adulthood, you meet people outside of people in school, outside of your family, and sometimes it just clicks. For once, you feel comfortable sharing, and it feels almost rebellious to be yourself, your imperfect self, and to share that with people, and share things that you've done that aren't so great, or sides of you that would not have been deemed acceptable by your family. However, this is where we need to protect ourselves. And the reason why specifically is because when you come from that background of being so closed off and learning that basically all your needs, all your mistakes, and all your faults, especially at an early age, a premature age, let's be clear, is not acceptable. If you're met with enough disappointment when you start being that rebellious side of you that shares, that expresses, and that wants to be seen, you'll revert. You'll revert not only because that's all that you've known before, but because there is a certain satisfaction to being proven right that just comes down to our human nature and how the brain functions. It's not your fault. It's not something that you should feel ashamed of, but it's a risk that ultimately is going to stop your growth. Because I believe you deserve to be heard. I believe you deserve to be seen, but in intimate settings with people that earned your trust. And the reason these people start very closed off to all the way super open is because in life, when we start from an extreme, the only thing we see is the opposite. We're so used to a drastic emotional baggage, a drastic way of living, that we feel more comfortable going to the other extreme. And we need to go through that imbalance, gauge both sides, to then figure out a healthy middle that truly works for us. And if you are in that stage of opening up and maybe feeling like you haven't been filtering people good enough, you've opened up to people that were not worthy of knowing who you are, You've extended and given yourself to people that, when you look back at it, were not giving back. I want to tell you that you are exactly where you're supposed to be. And what you did was exactly that imbalance to ultimately find a healthy middle. And the reason I'm talking to you right now is because I urge you to not give up if you faced situations, people, friends that ended up betraying you and misused your openness and vulnerability. I know it's tempting to go back. I know it's tempting to be closed off. We know that at the end of the day, you won't betray yourself. And you'll always be there for yourself because you've always had to be. But you don't need to keep that burden all on your shoulders anymore. So, now that we know who would be most likely to be in urgent need to protect their feelings, their emotions, their vulnerability, now, how do we do it? So, this might sound harsh, and I'm sorry if it does, but we need to be honest here. A lot of the time, when we are too vulnerable with someone right off the bat, it's most likely because we didn't care about them enough. We didn't take time to listen to them, to ask them questions, to understand why is it that they are interested in talking to us. And if you are at a first date, first time meeting someone, first time reconnecting with someone, sometimes we don't ask ourselves, is it the right setting to be vulnerable? If you're meeting someone for the first time on a date, is it the right setting to be vulnerable? What makes us think that they are trustworthy of knowing intimate details about us? Yeah, trauma dumping can feel amazing if you haven't opened up to anyone about your issues and your journey, and all of this is valid. However, are we sharing that to that person because we care about them and we trust them, or simply because we desperately need to be heard at any cost? You must value what you've been through enough to understand that not everyone is worthy to hear about it. And while this could be counterintuitive, because at the end of the day, what can someone do to me if I have full trust in myself and I felt good sharing this? That's the point. You're going back to being self-reliant. You're going back to basically only trusting yourself. And there is no consideration to the other person. If you ask someone about their value, about themselves, you can hear a lot about them by simply listening. And sometimes it goes beyond the words. You can hear that someone is all about themselves. You can hear that someone is emotionally distant. You can hear that someone puts all of their value in their work and will only talk about their work and ask you questions such as how much you make in a year, how much you make in a month, what are your goals about your business, and it's the first time you guys are meeting. Is this the person you want to be open to? Is this the person that deserves to hear you? Or is that the kind of person that's going to hear your story and be like, you're weird, or maybe use it as entertainment and tell it to someone else? And this is why you must filter by being observant, listening a whole lot, and keeping in mind that your trust is earned, it's not given. The same applies to social media. You may have 40,000 followers, but who are they? Why are they here? Why are they listening to you? And are they the best people suited to listen to all of these deep emotions and deep trauma and deep issues that you've been having? Will they weaponize it against you in the future? Will they make fun of you for saying these things? And the reality is, will you be able to handle it? Will that taint your judgment, not only towards other people, but towards yourself? Will you see your own story, your own trauma as less than? And ultimately, will you close yourself even more to others after the fact? And the reason I'm looking at you in the eyes and I'm telling you these things is because this is something I wish someone would have told me sooner. And I hope that you have a space in your heart to receive that, A, there's nothing wrong with you. We want to be heard, we want to communicate, and you're most likely a super deep person with an amazing self-awareness and an amazing self-reflection, introspection level. But B, not everyone has that. And if you keep opening up to the wrong people without filtering first, you will remain disappointed, judged, and made to feel less than, which, if we go back to what we said, hey, that's what got you closed off in the first place. And the reason this is important is because you are in a place in your journey where right now you need to learn how to be more open. You need to learn how to be more open first before being vulnerable. And I will not allow you to go back into your old patterns of misjudging everyone as bad people simply because you did not protect yourself enough and you decided to not look at who's in front of you, who's hearing me, and you just went for it. And you knew ultimately that it would hurt you. I salute you for trying to change, for going out there and trying something new. There's so much power in you. And finally, it is rare to find people of value, people that are respectful, people that are selfless, people that are here for you. And this is what you must start doing as well, listening to people, filtering, observing, so that when you open up, you get vulnerable, you cross the bridge between a superficial relationship to a personal relationship. You understand why you're building that bridge and if the person is worth building that bridge. And to conclude, of course, we can always be wrong. We can always
Can I just pluck, 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 Thank you for allowing me to pluck some coconuts, 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 coconuts. Yeah, I'm telling you, there was some coconuts, 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 some coconuts, 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 coconuts. Yes, there was many of them in your hair, just right here in your hair, right here. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty big. It's a big coconut. It's a big coconut. Coconut. Oh, you didn't hear me. I'm sorry. I meant coconut. What is all about these chills? How do you call them? Oh, a tingle. Okay, that's interesting. It's interesting. You say T I N G L E S. What? What do you mean that wasn't really an S? I mean, you're right. But I think I spelled tingles. Tingles. I think I spelled tingles right. Tingles. It's as if the coconuts. We're a part of those tingles. A tingle, the tickle. Do you feel them in your spine? Do you feel the tingles in your scalp? Your scalp. You feel the tingles in your scalp. Your scalp. I don't know if they could see. I don't know if they could see us. See us. I would sit just very low, just very low, just very low for now, just in case they hear us scream. That would be unfortunate because we're having a lot has some blue. It has some blue on it, as you can see. It has some blue. In comparison to my nails, which are white. What about yours? Oh, okay. I won't ask. I won't ask again. I should have known better with all the coconuts. All of the coconuts. All of the coconuts. All of the coconuts. Stuck in your skull. Sorry, I just had to scratch. I just had to scratch. Just like that. Scratch. In your ears. Scratching in your ears. Scratching in your ears, just like that. Scratching your ears. Scratching. Oh, sorry, I didn't know you wanted more tickles. More I didn't know you wanted more. But I just didn't know because I didn't know you wanted more. How can I be in your mind? Be in your mind. I'm not in your mind, but I can be in her scope. And just scratch and just scratch. And I mean, it's not like you never it's not like you never right? It's not like you never. I don't think I've ever dumped a coconut, but I think in the long term there could be some could be a lot of these things. But I think that you would know because you would appreciate that. But all in all, I wanted to say thank you for allowing me to and to just and we go again. To go like a all these coconuts, to scratch. Are your eyes closing? Or is it just me that is getting super sleepy? Sleepy. You might be feeling so hard on yourself. It's not only because you're sad or confused, or both, but because you blame yourself for feeling that way. How is it possible if I'm healthy, if I have things going on for me? How dare I feel this way? Why am I not being productive? And we feel ungrateful because we are not feeling positive. Does that make sense? And that's not just you or me. That is most people. And I think right now, in your sadness, there is a lot of answers. Being grateful means accepting what is and seeing the positive in that. Being able to accept something. And these are not always going to be positive feelings that we'll have to accept and build gratefulness for. They might be the feelings you are feeling just now. And I know it's frustrating because you just want to be happy. You just want to be doing better. But by thinking this way, you are not being grateful for what is truly happening in your life right now. You are not, or else you would be finding acceptance for these feelings. And you would make space for what is, and thus being grateful for what is put on your path. Fighting against what is not having a positive attitude about it. And being positive doesn't need to be performative. You don't need to convince yourself that you love feeling the way that you feel. But if you understand it's here for a reason, you'll have an easier time accepting it. Your human nature cannot be escaped. Sure, it is tempting to believe that we are superheroes capable of dismissing any emotion while also being very positive at all times. But if you are not meant to feel this way, why is it a part of your human nature? You are speaking the language of the heart and confusing it with the language of the mind. we try to find reasons as to why we feel this way. We are looking for a culprit, which more often than not is ourselves. We blame ourselves. Why can't I just be happy? Why can't I just be grateful? What's wrong with me? Why can't I just be like everybody else? Your feeling here is just asking you to be felt, not to be intellectualized, not to be understood, not to make sense, but it is asking you to be felt. And if you have a history of repressing and denying your feelings, it might feel very intense at first, because you're not just feeling one thing, you're feeling 30,000 pieces of leftover feelings that never had a chance to be felt. Sure, some feelings don't need to be put out in the world, don't need to be acted upon, and don't need to be the reason for your next move or actions. But in your purest form of intimacy, you deserve to see yourself and have compassion for what truly is. You might be fearing your emotions because you haven't spent any amount of time sitting with them and letting them out. If I start feeling them, what's going to happen? Are they going to destroy me? Am I going to lose myself in the process? Is it going to put a stop on my productivity and my life quality? And this is what I mean. You are intellectualizing it. Take a deep breath. And shift your attention to your body. Picture your energy. Where is the pain located? And can you put more focus and attention on there? Take another deep breath in. And relax your shoulders. You are safe. You are doing just fine. There is nothing to be afraid of or ashamed of. You don't need to judge yourself. You are doing exactly what needs to be done. You are breaking the distance inside of yourself between parts of you and your idea of yourself. And you are reconnecting pieces together as they deserve to be. Your emotions are acceptable. It is a part of who you are as a human. It is in your nature. You have enough judgment to not let them dictate your actions, but you have enough compassion with yourself to allow them to be. What is so scary about them? What have you been running away from? Feel every single answer. Don't think. You are smart, But right now, the work you're doing is with your heart. Give yourself a chance at being who you are. Resist judging what is. It's okay. Let it out. If you can't be vulnerable with yourself, how could you ever be vulnerable with someone else? You've been repressing so much of your energy for so long. And I understand there is tremendous comfort in knowing who we are, in feeling certain that we are this way because we are this way. But what about all the potential you could become? And what if it required you to feel? It is a time where you must give yourself the grace you give to others. After all, if people close to you are crying or sad, you deem it as normal. But for yourself, it's not. Take a deep breath in. You can take all the time that you need. Right now, you are being grateful by accepting what is, making space for it, and being honest and vulnerable with yourself. As you stop judging your emotions, you are, therefore, positive about them. You allow them to be, and you don't search for an answer. You know you are capable of doing things regardless of how you feel. After all, your opinion somehow is valued less. And sometimes it's not even conscious. You're not even aware that you're doing that. But it will manifest into people asking in a group, what do you want to do? And you'll just go with whatever. I'm okay with whatever. Don't mind me, it's okay. Whatever I will take. And while I commend you for creating space for others, one thing that I've learned in life is that most of the time, people won't make space for you. You have to make that space yourself. And I know that's not what I want to say, but that's what I've observed. A lot of the important information, as an example, on how to build a good financial future is nowhere to be found in school. Yes, we learn about how to build a certain skill, but so am I becoming an employee at the end of this? Am I becoming a CEO? Where am I going to situate myself? Unless you've been to business school, which is solely focused on business. And this example I just wanted to point out as a lot of important information in life, people won't hand out to you. You have to go after it yourself. And I assure you that you'll feel much more relaxed and happy after knowing it, especially if it's important to you, especially if it's important to the quality of your life. And I think that when it comes to you valuing yourself, kind of comes from the same principle. As long as you're not valuing yourself, you'll keep attracting people that are very happy to have someone around like you who is always down for anything. It's not a problem. Oh, very agreeable. Always down for anything. But it is okay for you to sometimes say, hey, I would prefer to do X, Y, and Z. And if you guys are not down for that, I'll just go home early. And I'm saying that because the way you do anything is the way you do everything. So someone who sees that you don't really stay strong on your opinions, you're not going to stand for what you believe, you don't actually even know what you believe in, they'll see a lot of opportunities to take advantage of that. And unless you decide to go after that sense of self, that self-respect, but most importantly, that self-esteem, no one is going to hand it to you. No amount of people liking you will make up for it. And I think a lot of the time we prioritize how many people like me over what is the quality of the people around me. And do I actually like the people that like me? I think this idea that we can be liked by everyone is a fantasy that belongs to the spectrum of either everyone is grandiose, everyone is better than me, and therefore I only have value if I get to be seen as good by everyone, or through the fear of making someone uncomfortable or making someone sad and protecting people's feelings. And while I respect and I hear these two realities, they don't operate in reality. Because according to this, you're also someone who is grandiose or someone who should never be bothered. And I don't think you are being treated that way realistically by everyone around you. So you must not be operating in reality, especially if you have to step over your own feelings to protect other people's in your life. If you have to step over what you really want to say, what you really want to believe in, for the sake of maybe not losing that friendship, maybe not bugging that boss or employee or whoever. I know I'm saying a lot, so if anything resonates, I invite you to stop the video, click pause for a second, and just think. I know a lot of the time I can get overwhelmed by too much information, but look, this is something so important. A lot of us do that mistake of believing that how many people like us equals how worthy we are. But if we were to spend 24 hours in a room full of 30 randomized people from that bunch of people that like us, we would have nothing to say to them. Because to be liked by so many people also requires you to be pretty flavorless. If you're not going to bother anyone, if you're going to make everyone happy, then you're going to stay in a very rigid lane that is hard to step out of. And if that's the way that you build your self-worth, then stepping out of that box and standing for yourself, and then maybe getting people offended or feeling in disagreement with you will completely ruin your self-esteem and make you feel dependent onto these people. Because without them, whoever they are, that number of people, that amount of people, you feel like your worth is less. And I think this comes from the idea that we must be liked by everyone, or that we are liked based on how many people like us. The opposite is true. But it has never been as easy as present times to be fooled into thinking that 40,000 people liking you equals more people liking you in real life, or you feeling more liked in your personal life. More often than not, before focusing on that, what really matters is family first. Do we have a good relationship with our family? Is it possible to have a good relationship with our family? And it doesn't have to be the direct family, it can be extended, it can be the parents of a friend that you see as family as well. But the real relationships in our lives are usually the ones where that kind of feeling can be achieved. We can work on them and then feel like we are becoming closer and more liked by people. At the end of the day, nothing is given for free. What attracts most people in this day and age usually requires a lot of controversy, a lot of sacrifices in terms of self-respect. You know, how do you respect yourself? What do you want to put out there? Before even thinking about what am I going to put out there, it's just about, will people like it? Are people going to like me? And you don't even envision that there are people that are out there waiting for you. Especially post-pandemic, there's a ton of people just like you that would like you exactly for who you are. And I understand that it's not an easy thing to do, because being vulnerable also means that rejection is going to hurt more. But in this case, what needs to be done is one thing and one thing only: to begin. And maybe we'll come back to this in another video. It's to do cold exposure. Look, I know it's hard to feel rejected. That's actually why I started live streaming. The more you live stream, the more you see that, hey, there's a ton of people that don't like you, don't like how you look, don't like your existence, and that are going to have the time of the day to let you know. And with social media being so accessible, it's a very good practice to go live and experience being seen by people and receiving comments that can be mean. And the more you see them, the less they matter, I promise. And that is if you are trying to put yourself out there online. But in person, I would say the equivalent of that is just going outside in a park and screaming. A lot of people are not going to like that. They may look at you weird. But then you'll see that, hey, it didn't change anything in my life. It didn't change anything in their life. And everybody is good. At the end of the day, there must be a limit. Of course, cold exposure to rejection doesn't mean going to stranger at night and trying hard to be rejected. But it's just doing things that are including yourself only, where there's going to be judgment. For some people, that can be dressing the way you want to dress, pursuing your dream and sharing it, and practicing yourself to hear people's opinion, but not having to believe in everyone. Remember, not everyone is better than you simply because you haven't reached that full potential in your self-esteem yet. That's the thing that we often delude ourselves in thinking. Yes, some people appear confident, but at the end of the day, we don't know anything about them. We don't know how happy they are. We don't know anything about their personal life. And so it's a big gift to just give your trust right there and be like, hey, yeah, I'm going to give you all my trust. I'm going to give you more worth than I ever give myself, in hopes that you like me too, stranger that I don't even know. We must have an idea of who is it that we like, who is it that we want to connect with, and who is worth connecting with us. At the end of the day, I know that we all tend to be stuck in this fantasy land where either everyone is better than us, or for some people it's the contrary. It's everyone is worse and I'm so much better. And in the middle, there's this little spot, the gray zone, where, hey, some people will be better, some people will be worse, But at the end of the day, the goal is not to compare who's number 1 and who's number 5. It's just to see who's a better match for you. Pluck, 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 Thank you for allowing me to pluck some coconuts, 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 coconuts. Yeah, I'm telling you, there was some coconuts, 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 and yours. I don't make the rules, I'm sorry. There was some coconuts, 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 coconuts. Yes, there was many of them in your hair, just right here in your hair, right here. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty big. It's a big coconut. It's a big coconut. 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 Oh, you didn't hear me. I'm sorry. I meant coconut. 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 What is all about these chills? Chills. How do you call them? Oh, a tingle. Okay, that's interesting. It's interesting. You say T I N G L E S. What? What do you mean that wasn't really an S? I mean, you're right. But I think I spelled tingles. Tingles. I think I spelled tingles right. Tingles. It's as if the coconuts. Were feel them in your spine? Do you feel the tingles in your scalp? Your scalp. You feel the tingles in your scalp. Your scalp. I don't know if they could see. I don't know if they could see us. See us. I would just very low, just very low, just very low for now, just in case they hear us scream. That would be unfortunate because we're having a lot of tingles with all the coconuts that were taken from your scalp. It is actually something that triggers all the chills in your scalp. And so what were you saying about college? You were mentioning that there was a lot of colors. Just like this shirt has a lot of colors, It has some blue. On it, as you can see. It has some blue. In comparison to my nails, which are white. What about yours? Oh, okay. I won't ask again. I should have known better with all the coconuts. All of the coconuts. Stuck in your scalp. Sorry, I just had to scratch. I just had to scratch. Just like that. Scratch. In your ears. Scratching in your ears. Scratching in your ears. Just like that. Scratching. Your ears. Scratching. Oh, sorry, I didn't know you wanted more tickles. I didn't know you wanted more. But I just didn't know because I didn't know you wanted more. How can I be in your mind? Be in your mind. I'm not in your mind, but I can be in your scope. And just scratch and just scratch. And I mean, it's not like you never it's not like you never right? sound like you never. I don't think I've ever dumped a coconut, but I think in the long term there could be some could be a lot of these things. But all in all, I wanted to say thank you for allowing me to and to explode. Explode these coconuts on your face. Then every time I or it explodes. Not on your face because we took them away. We made them go. You remember, but just so they don't bug you anymore. 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 Because just that. It is what it is, it is what it is, but it can be bugged. And you understand, I want you to be bugged. I don't want you to be bugged. I just want you to feel the tickles, and the tingles that we can just get from the coconuts. We can get them by just